Chosen one, listen carefully. There are battles in this world that ordinary eyes cannot see. Conflicts that don't happen with swords or armies, but with faith, endurance, and the quiet strength inside a soul that refuses to surrender. From the moment you entered this world, something about you was different. People felt it even when they couldn't explain it. Some admired it, others feared it. Many tried to suppress it, but none of them understood the truth about you. You were never meant to blend in with the crowd. You were designed to stand apart. Long before your struggles began, before the nights you questioned your purpose, before the betrayals and the isolation, heaven had already made a decision. A role was prepared. A weapon was forged. Not a weapon of destruction, but a weapon of purpose. And that weapon was you. The reason life has tested you so fiercely is because ordinary tools are never placed in extraordinary battles. Every hardship, every rejection, every moment when it felt like the world was pushing you down was actually shaping you. Just like a blade must face intense heat before it becomes strong enough for battle, your spirit was being refined. The pressure you felt was not punishment. It was preparation. There were moments when enemies thought they had already won. It believed the weight of your pain would silence you. They believed your faith would collapse under pressure. They assumed your path would end quietly, forgotten and defeated. But they misunderstood something powerful about divine design. When God creates a weapon, it doesn't break easily, it evolves. That is why you survived what others thought would destroy you. That is why every trap placed in your path somehow became a lesson instead of an ending. Even when confusion surrounded you, something deep inside kept pushing you forward. That quiet inner voice that told you not to give up, even when everything looked hopeless, was not random motivation. It was divine guidance reminding you who you truly are. Your presence alone disrupts darkness. Not because you fight loudly, but because truth naturally exposes deception. Some people sense this immediately. This is why certain individuals were uncomfortable around you for no clear reason. They felt a force within you that challenged their illusions, and instead of understanding it, they tried to resist it. But what they didn't realize is that a weapon forged by God cannot be neutralized by human schemes. Every attempt to block your path only sharpened your awareness. Every betrayal strengthened your discernment. Every lonely season deepened your connection with something greater than this world. The truth is, the battles you faced were never random. They were signals confirming the power placed inside your life. Darkness does not waste time attacking something insignificant. Opposition appears where purpose exists, and now something extraordinary is happening. The same strength that helped you endure the storm is becoming the force that will guide others through their own storms. The resilience you developed in silence is turning into wisdom. The pain that once felt unbearable is transforming into clarity. The world may still see an ordinary person walking through ordinary days, but beyond the surface, a divine strategy is unfolding. A quiet force is moving through your actions, your decisions, your courage to continue even when the path seems uncertain. You are not here by accident. You are not surviving by coincidence. You are a living demonstration that when God chooses a vessel, nothing in darkness can fully stop its mission. And the most surprising part of this story is that the greatest weapon heaven ever prepared was never meant to look powerful from the outside. It was meant to look human, humble, and underestimated, until the exact moment its true strength begins to awaken. There are moments in life when everything around you seems ordinary. Yet deep inside your spirit you feel a strange awareness that you were never meant to live an ordinary story. From a very early stage in your life, something about your path began to separate you from the crowd. It may not have looked dramatic to others, but you could feel it. Situations unfolded in ways that forced you to grow faster, think deeper, and endure more than most people around you. While others were learning comfort, you were learning survival. While others were discovering ease, you were discovering resilience. This difference was never accidental. Many times you probably wondered why your life carried such intense lessons. Why certain people walked into your life only to betray you. Why opportunities sometimes appeared only to disappear again. Why moments of loneliness arrived when you needed support the most. These questions echoed through your mind because you were searching for meaning behind the pattern. What you did not realize at that time was that every one of those experiences was shaping the foundation of something powerful within you. A weapon that carries divine purpose is never created in comfort. It is forged in pressure. Each challenge you faced was part of a silent process that strengthened your mind, sharpened your perception, and deepened your spiritual awareness. The struggles were not there to destroy you. They were there to build a version of you that could withstand storms without collapsing. There were days when it felt like the world misunderstood you completely. People judged your silence, misread your intentions, or underestimated your strength. Some believed your patience meant weakness. Others thought your kindness meant you could be easily controlled. But hidden beneath that calm exterior was a spirit that had already endured battles most people could never imagine. What makes your journey different is the quiet endurance you carried through it all. Instead of becoming bitter, you kept searching for purpose. Instead of surrendering to the darkness that surrounded certain moments of your life, you continued to move forward step by step. Even when your faith was tested, something deep inside refused to let you give up. This quiet resistance is not something ordinary. It is a signal that something greater has been operating within your life from the beginning. When divine purpose is placed inside a person, it creates a kind of inner fire that cannot easily be extinguished. Even when circumstances seem overwhelming, that inner fire continues to burn. There were individuals who sensed this difference in you before you even recognized it yourself. Some were drawn to your presence because they felt peace around you. Others reacted with jealousy or hostility without fully understanding why. Your energy disturbed the balance of environments built on deception or negativity. Truth has a natural way of exposing illusions, and your presence carried that truth even when you were simply being yourself. The experiences you went through were preparing you to understand people on a deeper level. Betrayal taught you discernment. Isolation taught you independence. Hardship taught you strength. These lessons were slowly shaping a mindset capable of seeing beyond surface appearances. Over time, the confusion you once felt began transforming into awareness. You started noticing patterns that others overlooked. You began understanding why certain doors closed and why certain people disappeared from your life. Every chapter that once seemed painful started revealing hidden purpose. Your story was never meant to follow the predictable route that most lives take. The pressure you experienced was the process of forging something rare. Just like a blade becomes stronger through intense heat and relentless shaping, your spirit was being prepared through every challenge that came your way. Chosen one, the moment you begin to understand your true role, you start seeing your past through a completely different lens. Situations that once looked like random suffering begin to reveal a hidden design. Every setback, every delay, every unexpected detour was shaping you into something far more powerful than you realized at the time. What once felt like chaos was actually preparation. There were seasons in your life when you felt surrounded by darkness. Plans collapsed without warning. People you trusted revealed sides of themselves you never expected. Opportunities you prayed for slipped away right when you thought you were about to reach them. Those moments created confusion and frustration because you were searching for fairness in situations that seemed painfully unfair. But the truth is that the path of someone chosen for a higher purpose rarely follows the rules of ordinary comfort. When a life carries divine intention, it is trained differently. Just like a warrior cannot be prepared through soft lessons alone, your spirit had to be strengthened through experiences that demanded courage. Every challenge forced you to grow beyond the version of yourself that existed before. The person you were years ago would not have been able to carry the awareness you hold today. You may remember a moment when you stood alone, feeling as if nobody truly understood what you were going through. In those quiet hours, your mind searched for answers while your heart struggled to remain hopeful. Yet even in those lonely spaces, something remarkable was happening. Your connection with truth was becoming stronger. While others relied on external approval, you were slowly learning to rely on inner clarity. This process was not comfortable, but it was necessary. Strength built through approval is fragile. Strength built through endurance becomes unshakable. Every time life forced you to stand on your own, it was teaching you how powerful you really are. When external support disappears, there were also moments when certain individuals tried to manipulate your path. Some attempted to discourage your dreams. Others tried to convince you that your ambitions were unrealistic. They spoke with confidence, believing they understood the limits of your potential. But their perspective was shaped by their own fears, not by the design placed over your life. The truth is that people often react negatively to what they cannot understand. When someone carries a different energy, a deeper awareness, or an unusual sense of purpose, it disrupts the expectations of those who prefer predictable patterns. Instead of celebrating that difference, many choose to challenge it. You experienced this resistance firsthand. Certain environments felt uncomfortable because your presence naturally questioned the illusions those spaces were built upon. Even when you remained quiet, your awareness could sense when something was not aligned with truth. This sensitivity sometimes made you feel out of place, but it was actually one of your greatest strengths developing. Discernment does not appear instantly. It grows through experience. The betrayals you encountered were not meaningless pain. They were lesson, sharpening your ability to recognize genuine intentions from hidden motives. Over time, you began noticing the subtle signals that reveal a person's true character. At the same time, the hardships you endured were strengthening your emotional endurance. Pain that once felt overwhelming slowly became something you could process with greater wisdom. Instead of allowing it to define you, you began transforming it into understanding. Your journey has been shaping a mindset capable of standing firm even when circumstances attempt to shake your confidence. The resilience forming inside you is not based on temporary motivation. It is built on the deep realization that every challenge you survived was evidence of the strength that cannot easily be broken. As this awareness grows, you begin recognizing that the battles you fought were never meant to defeat you. They were meant to reveal the power that had been quietly forming inside your spirit all along. Chosen one, there comes a moment in every extraordinary journey when the person walking the path begins to notice something unusual about the battles they face. The struggles are never small. The resistance is never light. The pressure always seems heavier than what most people around them experience. For a long time, this can feel unfair, almost as if life is demanding more from you than it does from others. But the deeper truth behind this pattern is something many people never realize until much later. When a life carries a powerful purpose, it naturally attracts powerful opposition. Darkness does not waste its energy on something that carries no threat. Resistance appears where influence is destined to grow. This is why your journey has often felt like walking through storms while others seemed to move through calm waters. The battles were not random events scattered across your life. They were signs that you are existent. Sin carries weight in places you cannot always see. There were times when you sensed that certain conflicts in your life were deeper than ordinary disagreements. Situations escalated in ways that seemed strange. People reacted strongly to things you said or did even when your intentions were honest. Sometimes hostility appeared without any clear explanation. These moments created confusion because you could not always understand why your presence seemed to trigger such reactions. And what you were experiencing was the natural response of environments that resist transformation. Whenever truth enters a space built on illusion, tension begins to rise. Your awareness, your honesty, and your refusal to fully conform to systems that lacked integrity quietly challenged the foundations around you. Even when you were not trying to confront anything directly, your perspective alone introduced a different kind of energy into those situations. Some individuals sensed this difference immediately. Instead of seeing it as something positive, they viewed it as a threat. They attempted to silence your ideas, dismiss your instincts, or create doubt around your confidence. They believed that if they could make you question yourself long enough, you would eventually shrink your voice and accept the limitations they placed around you. But something inside you continued resisting that pressure. Even when doubt appeared, a deeper part of your spirit refused to fully surrender your sense of direction. This inner resistance was not stubbornness without reason. It was a signal that your purpose was stronger than the fear being projected onto you. Throughout your journey, you may have noticed that the same pattern repeated itself in different environments. Whether it was in relationships, workplaces, or social circles, similar challenges appeared again and again. At first, it may have felt frustrating, as though life was repeating the same difficult lesson. Yet every time the pattern returned, your understanding grew stronger. You began recognizing behaviors faster. You learned how to read intentions behind words. Situations that once confused you slowly became easier to interpret. What used to take months to understand could now be recognized in moments. This sharpening of awareness was part of your development. Every confrontation with deception strengthened your discernment. Every moment when you stood your ground reinforced your inner authority. The pressure that once tried to silence you gradually became the force that strengthened your voice. While others may have seen only conflict on the surface, a deeper transformation was taking place inside you. Your spirit was learning how to remain steady even when surrounded by chaos. Your perception was evolving beyond appearances, allowing you to see the deeper motives driving human behavior. Over time, you started understanding that your life was not meant to remain small or unnoticed. The resistance you faced was not evidence of failure. It was confirmation that your presence was powerful enough to disturb systems that depended on silence and conformity. Chosen one, there is a stage in the journey where everything you have experienced begins to connect like pieces of a hidden design. The struggles, the strange encounters, the doors that closed unexpectedly, and even the moments when you felt completely alone, all start forming a pattern that reveals something deeper. What once looked like scattered hardships slowly begins to look like preparation. For a long time, you may have believed that your challenges were simply part of ordinary life. Everyone faces problems, everyone goes through disappointment, and everyone struggles in different ways. But as you began reflecting on your experiences, you started noticing that the intensity of your journey carried a different weight. The lessons were sharper, the betrayals were deeper, and the transformations demanded more courage than most people ever have to summon. This realization does not arrive all at once. It grows slowly through awareness. There comes a moment when you begin to understand that your life has been training you to operate with a level of strength and perception that most people never develop. Situations that once left you confused now appear as clear lessons that shaped your character. You remember times when everything seemed to collapse at once. Plans fell apart, relationships shifted unexpectedly, and the stability you thought you had suddenly disappeared. In those moments, it felt like the ground beneath your feet was being pulled away. Fear and uncertainty tried to convince you that everything was falling apart permanently. Yet each time something collapsed, something else inside you awakened. A deeper resilience began to rise. Instead of remaining broken by those experiences, you started rebuilding yourself in a stronger way. The version of you that emerged after each difficult chapter carried more awareness than the version that existed before. This transformation was not just emotional or mental. It was spiritual. Your perspective on life began changing in ways that others might not fully understand. You started seeing beyond surface appearances. Situations that once looked simple revealed layers of meaning you had never noticed before. The more awareness you gained, the more you realized that your experiences were shaping a kind of internal strength that could not easily be shaken. External circumstances might still change, people might still come and go, but something within you had become steady. At the same time, you began noticing how differently you handled pressure compared to the past. Moments that once would have overwhelmed you now felt manageable. Situations that used to create panic now triggered careful observation instead. Instead of reacting immediately, you began understanding the deeper dynamics behind what was happening. This shift marked an important stage in your journey. Strength was no longer something you hoped to find. It had already been growing inside you through every hardship you survived. The storms you endured had quietly trained you to remain grounded, even when chaos appeared around you. The people around you may still see only the surface of who you are. They may remember the quieter version of you from earlier chapters in your life. They may not fully recognize the transformation that has taken place within your spirit, but you can feel the difference clearly. Your awareness has expanded. Your discernment has sharpened. Your ability to remain steady in difficult situations has grown stronger than you once thought possible. The challenges that once seemed impossible to survive have now become evidence of the strength that was forming inside you all along. Chosen one, there is a powerful moment in the journey when you begin to recognize that the strength forming inside you was never meant only for survival. For a long time, your focus may have been simply getting through each challenge. Each day was about endurance, about pushing forward even when the path seemed uncertain. But as your awareness grows, you start realizing that the strength you developed is becoming something far greater than a survival mechanism. The experiences you carried through your life have given you a kind of vision that many people never develop. You understand pain not as a distant concept, but as something you have personally walked through. You recognize struggle not as an abstract idea, but as a reality you have endured and learned from. This understanding creates a depth within you that cannot be taught through simple advice or easy lessons. Many people move through life without ever confronting their inner fears. They avoid situations that challenge their beliefs, and they remain comfortable within familiar boundaries. Your journey has been different. You were placed in situations that forced you to question everything, including your own strength. Each challenge demanded that you look deeper within yourself and discover abilities you never knew existed. Through this process, you developed resilience that cannot easily be shaken. The storms that once felt overwhelming now appear as chapters that shaped your character. Instead of seeing your past as a series of painful memories, you begin to see it as a training ground where your spirit was refined. There were moments when you believed your struggles were isolating you from the world. You may have felt like no one around you truly understood what you were carrying inside. Yet those very moments of isolation were strengthening your connection with your own inner voice. While others relied on external approval to guide their choices, you were learning to trust the quiet wisdom developing within you. This internal guidance is one of the most powerful gifts formed through your journey. It allows you to navigate situations with clarity even when external opinions create confusion. Instead of being easily influenced by the expectations of others, you have begun to recognize the importance of staying aligned with your deeper sense of purpose. Your ability to observe people and situations has also grown stronger. You can sense when something feels genuine and when something carries hidden intentions. This awareness was not developed through simple study. It was built through experience, through moments when you had to learn difficult lessons about trust and authenticity. Because of these experiences, your perspective has matured in ways that many people cannot easily understand. What others may see as setbacks, you now recognize as opportunities for growth. What once looked like obstacles now appear as challenges that reveal new layers of your strength. At the same time, the endurance you developed is quietly becoming a source of inspiration for others. Even when you are not trying to influence anyone directly, people can sense the depth of your character. They see the calmness you carry in situations that would normally create panic. They notice the way you remain steady when circumstances become difficult. This quiet strength has the power to guide others without the need for loud declarations. Your journey has been shaping you into someone whose presence alone carries meaning. The resilience you built through hardship is gradually transforming into a force that can uplift those who are still searching for their own path through the storms of life.